build their team, and he's looking to the ex-San Diego Charger Dan Reeves to put one past the old rivals New York today. Well, there were 76,000 people packed into Giant Stadium by game time, most of them hoping otherwise. And the Redskins, in their 1937 uniforms, obliged them by starting badly, Reeves being intercepted on the first play of the game by Corey Miller. So the Giants, in their 1956-era kit, have the ball at the Redskins' 20 as we pick it up, with commentators Pat Summerall and John Madden.
Now it's Pierce in motion. This is Brown. Incomplete. And no flags. He could still run with the fastest. 2nd and 10. Negative. To about the 12. Meggett again, airborne, got knocked backwards. I don't know if he got it or not.
I didn't think they'd run Dave Meggett this much this early, because I think that I think they have to save him. I think they're going to have to, you know, once in a while just give it to a fullback. Once in a while, you know, pass it on a first down or something. But you say this is the kind of stuff that Meggett can't do.
And you got to think about all the stuff that he does do in addition to being a ball carrier.
You know, and that's why, of course, you know, you can talk all day about how much they miss Rodney Hampton, but another guy is they lost in the offseason was Lewis Tillman.
Right.
Remember when Rodney Hampton would get hurt, every time we'd see Lewis Tillman, it seemed like he'd come in and gain over 100 yards.
This defensive backs into the contest. It is 4th and a yard. Aaron Pierce in the backfield with Meggett. He was trying to pull him off sides, and it appeared the Redskins did jump.
That may have been the play they talked about, Pat, is a hard count. And they did get him offside.
Offside, defense, middle guard, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And you have to give credit to Dave Brown on this one. You're going to see him here. He's going to give that hard count. You know, that hut, hut, hut. And I'll tell you, it wasn't just some nose guard. That was about 4 guys in the middle that jumped on that one. You know, over the years, the best guy that I ever saw doing that was Bob Greasy.
Oh, yeah.
The Miami Dolphins. Yeah, he was. And you knew it was coming. You'd tell your team knew it was coming, and he'd still get you offside.
Roman Gabriel was good at it as well. Brown fakes. Tried to run it. Got away from 1 or 2 Redskins. Got inside the 5 and picked up about 4. It looked as if nothing was there.
That wasn't a bad move.
He ran into Riesenberg, or he might have scored. Here's Meggett around the corner, touchdown. Dave Meggett puts the Giants ahead.
Look at it coming from the other side. You see everyone shut it down. You want to get down low. You want to squeeze everything down. And they squeezed it all down. Everyone got bunched inside, and that was an easy one for Dave Meggett.
The lead block by Lance Smith. Treadwell for the extra point, which is good. There was some doubt during the week as to whether or not Treadwell would be able to play. He had back spasm.
So the over, but Reeves came back to lead the Redskins down into field goal range for Chip Lowmiller to cut the gap to 4. In the first quarter, David Treadwell, back spasms or not, put it back up to 7 with a 35-yarder for the Giants.
Brian Mitchell are the backs now. Reeves. Henry Allen, touchdown from Reeves.
Again, Reeves was going to throw that one to the right. He looked to the right, and then came all the way back to Ellard on the left. But again, Dan Reeves made some good reads, but you have to give credit to the offensive line because he had way too much time.
Well, you've heard it said so many times before, you give a quarterback, any quarterback in the NFL, that kind of protection, and he'll find somebody.
That's right. And he looked and he looked and he looked and he didn't find Henry Ellard till the last guy he looked in the far side and the left.
Miller for the extra point, and we have a tie at 10.
And Chip Lohmiller gave them their first lead of the game, hitting the ball inside the uprights from 42 yards. The Giants' next possession, down by 3 and driving from their 32-yard line.
First and 10. Redskins lead here 13 to 10. As
Taking the ball so many times.
well, it's a throwback.
That's good. Let it hang out then.
Brown back to throw. Pierce wide open in the Redskins secondary. Darryl Morrison finally brought him down.
And Pierce was left there uncovered.
It's back to Meggett. Pursuit is there.
Put down like this, you have to be a tough guy.
The only thing that'll cure that is rest. Flag on the play. Brown has it batted down. Here comes the fake reverse. Brown shakes off one tackler, has a man. Touchdown. Mike Sherrard. The Giants get back the lead.
And that's what Lifton Waits does for Dave Brown, because I'll tell you, Sterling Palmer was on him, like you said, and look, and he just took him and got away from him. Watch the play that Dave Brown makes when 97 comes in here. Fakes a reverse. Now watch right there. You see he was able just to bring that arm up over and throw it, put velocity. It wasn't a beautiful throw.
No, it wasn't.
And that thing kind of flopped out there, but it was a perfect location. Bad rotation, perfect location.
Treadwell for the extra point. Arthur Marshall will hold it. And the Giants reclaim the lead.
So Dave Brown looking impressive, and his touchdown pass to Mike Sherrard, putting the Giants back ahead.
In NFL history to surpass 10,000 yards receiving.
You know, look at that. James Lofton first, Steve Large in second. Charlie Joyner.
Breeze will throw it. Touchdown. Ethan Hart. This one is true.
Now the Giants had 12 guys on the field, or they had someone trying to get off. I think it was Jesse Campbell trying to get off. Freeze again, good pass protection, able to look, and he found Ethan Horton in the background.
He had one for Horton perfectly earlier.
Well, it's Horton, number 89. He's going to run right to that back line and just kind of sit there. And that's not much of a pattern. He just went right to the end line or the back line. Freeze again with good protection. Just look up and saw number 89.
Lohmiller for the extra point, and the Redskins take the lead now, 20-7.
The second half.
That's going to be Thomas Lewis. He's got some speed. Lewis still on his feet and fighting to the 43-yard line where the Giants will start. Stopped by Sebastian Savage, but he was still able to turn it.
He and Callaway at the end of the game, the Giants were trying to win. Both their receivers just ran out of gas.
There's Rashid in motion, and this is Meggett bouncing around as only he can do. Gets up to about the 48. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage. Andre Collins made the stop finally.
You know, you want to watch Rashid here. He's going to lead. Boy, does he get met. I mean, the leader gets hit right there, and then Meggett has to find another hole. But watch Rashid right there. Whap, he gets knocked backward. There's no way that Meggett can follow that lead, but he just kind of slithers and turns and gets in there sideways to get a 5-yard gain.
2nd and 4, 5, call it. incomplete to Chris Callaway, who has sort of taken over as the leader of their receiving corps. A lot of speed and a lot of toughness.
You're just going to see Callaway here. He's just going to come up and do what they call a hook pattern. You see him, the outside, Sherrard goes to the outside. He just comes up and just stops, and he finds that hole in the zone. You got a linebacker outside, a linebacker inside, and you sit down in that hole between the linebackers.
1st and 10 at the Redskin 38. Draw play. The lead draw to Megan. And the Redskins handle it well. Led by Tony Woods.
You don't know what Dave Megan makes. He makes a lot of money, but in these last couple of weeks,
he has earned it.
He's earned it because he's not only, again, we talked about this, he's not only being Rodney Hampton, but he's also being Dave Megan, so he's carrying a double load.
And he's the deep back on 2nd and 9 with Kenyon Rashid in the backfield with him. And Meggett goes in motion. And the Redskins jump offside. Brown wheels it over the head of Callaway. Incomplete. Flag downfield as well.
I think that was Sterling Palmer who jumped offside. I think it was the right side of the Redskin defensive lineup. In fact, Palmer is coming off the field, so it probably was him. I'd like to see an official.
Didn't see any holding.
No, it was before that. It was before the ball was thrown. When he's coming off the line.
Had to be. Meggett is inside the Redskin 20 to about the 17. Knocked out of bounds by Darrell Green.
Yeah, one thing about Dave Meggett, when he gets the ball in the open field, you get the feeling that he just has one thing in mind, and that's to streak that thing right towards the goal line.
You know something's going to happen.
I mean, when he gets it out there in the open like that, and you wonder how he gets out there in the open like that, but when he does, he takes that straight to the goal line.
Yeah, that's the first thing you think of as a defensive coordinator. We got to keep track of where he is. Make it again. Down to about the 15. Picked up a couple. Stopped by Bobby Wilson and Lamar Mills.
You know, one thing that more and more teams are doing to the Giants is they're getting an 8-man front. And the way you get 8-man is you bring your safety up. Now, you see right here, they got their 7. And now we're going to see number 34, Martin Bayless, their strong safety, come in. And he's going to get up there. Right here, you see he's right there. So that gives the 8th guy, and he becomes a free guy.
2nd and 8. It's Meggett. There's the option pass. Touchdown Giants to Aaron Pierce.
Now, every time they play the Redskins, he does it. They played him twice last year. Meggett threw a touchdown pass. We knew in this game they were going to do it. They were just waiting for the right situation. Dan Reeves called it. He said, here's the right situation. The old Dave Meggett run pass. Again, a pitch to Dave Meggett. The guard pulls. Aaron Pierce just sneaks out. Martin Bayless buys the. I mean, he reads run. He sees guard pull, run. He comes up. Aaron Pierce just gets right in behind him.
Treadwell. Holding, and Treadwell is right down the middle.
The lead changes hands again then, and the men in the vintage caps on the Giants sideline are happy. They got happier too later in the third when Chip Lowmiller missed a chip shot, pulling a field goal attempt wide from 23 yards. So it's the Giants leading by 4 going into the final period. A quick welcome back. The last action we saw in the third quarter was Chip Lowmiller missing an easy field goal. Well, he redeemed himself at the start of the fourth with a successful attempt from 35 yards. So it's a 1-point game now. Here's the Giants' next drive. They're starting out from their own 19.
Callaway made a motion to Meggett. Meggett outside the 20, 21 perhaps. Stopped by Tim Johnson again. He does look like he's enjoying being back.
Well, you know, you get frustrated. You know, a big guy, anyone with a hamstring, because once you pull a hamstring, you know, you can't see it. I mean, you walk around, you really don't limp, and you can walk and you can jog, but you just can't go all out, and you can't go enough to play professional football.
And it just won't get well.
It just frustrates the heck out of you.
Gerard sets a man in motion. Mike Gerard drags his feet out of bounds, close to midfield at about the 48. Finally stopped by Darrell Green.
That was some throw by Dave Brown, too, Pat. I mean, he had a rush, and he kind of brought that thing out of there sideways. Like you say, Gerard is coming across in motion, and then you're not only going to see Gerard make a run there, but Callaway made a little block there that got him about 5 more yards. Watch it, Dave Brown. He's looking, searching, he's looking to the left. You see how he kind of threw that one sidearm?
That was a Bernie Kosar.
I know, he finally found the guy he wanted.
The Giants lead the Redskins by 1. That's Callaway coming in motion. And it's Dave Brown back to throw it. Pass is caught by Callaway. In motion one way, cut back across the middle the other way.
Well, they're so worried now about Gerard going deep that they send Gerard deep. Now, Callaway's going to come across in motion here. Then he's going to have Gerard on the same side. Gerard goes deep. You see, Gerard goes deep, and then Callaway just breaks underneath it in the middle. And Gerard clears it out, and then Callaway can come underneath.
25-yard gain. Handoff is to Megan. He dodges one man in the backfield. Gets inside the 25 to about the 22. Stopped by Martin Bayless. Watch this move coming up by Meggett.
There's Jim Lachey. He's waiting to get in there the next time. But Meggett makes one of those moves that he comes in and he stops and then he starts and goes again. He stops before he gets to the line of scrimmage. Watch him. Now, this is a move right here. He stops right there and makes that move to let William Roberts get a block and then goes around. There aren't many guys that can do that.
Nope. Second down. That's Pierce in motion this time. That's Meggett again. Skipping to the 15. And up for a first down. Gobert made the stop.
And I'll tell you, he followed William Roberts on that time again, Pat. Watch Roberts. He's a left guard here. He's going to pull and trap, and Meggett goes boom right off his block. Watch him. They put Pierce in motion at what, 66. There's a trap box. Whack, right there, and Meggett hits it just as Roberts hits it.
First down, Giants at the Redskins 16, maybe 15. 21 rushes, 68 yards for Meggett. A career high in carries for him. And another coming. Don't forget the option pass. He threw for a touchdown as he carries again. Darrell Morrison up to make the stop. He is one tough guy.
Well, Dan Reeves says last week, he said if he didn't have his helmet on, he would have given him a kiss.
He gave him a hug.
And he gave him a hug. But, you know, it's this type of thing when you have to win the game here. I mean, here, the Giants have to get a score. They know that they haven't been able to stop the Redskins. One of the ways to do it is to let your offense control the ball, keep their offense off the field, and then, of course, score a point here, score a touchdown here.
To Meggett. And again, yardage around the right end. Stopped by Tyrone Stowe, but close to another Giant first down.
There's Rodney Hampton. He's up there. I mean, now he knows that if he were healthy, he would be in there doing this. He had the kidney injury last week, plus he broke 2 transverse processes off his spine. So the kidney, he said, is healed, but it's a transverse process, or that part of the back that's bothering him now. And he has to let Dave Meggett do the job.
3rd and 2, and he is doing the job. Brown straight ahead with the quarterback sneak, and that got him enough for a first. They knocked him backwards, but he had it.
That's the second time that Dave Brown's gotten a first down for him today. This guy, you know, they missed Phil Simms, and they, you know, what's going to happen with Phil Simms? But Dave Brown looks like he's been playing this game of quarterback for 5 or 6 years. You see what he did with his eyes? He faked with his eyes to the right on the quarterback sneak, and then he came to the left. That's the old deal. Look one way, sneak the other.
First and goal at the 4. The Giants lead it by a point at the moment. And it's Meggett who lost the ball. And there is a scramble. Meggett got it back.
I saw a hat fly in there. Did you see the official threw a hat in there at the ball? The ball was on the ground, and Meggett fumbled it. Then Meggett picked it up, and the official threw a hat at it.
Tough ball.
Meggett is a deep guy. This is their delay or the draw. You see, he never got a handle on that handoff. Luckily, there were no Redskins around there, and there's a hat right there. Man threw his hat.
Second down. It's Meggett again. And touchdown with a second effort. Meggett has thrown for 1 and scored 1. Rodney Hampton over to congratulate Dave Meggett.
Just watch the effort on this one. The duck, the push, the dodge, and the touchdown.
Treadwell adds the extra point, and it's 31-23 Giants.
The Redskins' next drive was a disaster. When they weren't moving backwards because of penalties, they were missing easy completions like this one. So they had to punt, but they forced the Giants to do the same. So with less than 2 minutes left, they have the ball back.
Reeves to throw. Desmond Howard jumped too soon. Had it and lost it on the way down.
The Redskins and Freeze have found some open areas, you know, at about 15 yards in this Giant defense, and they've hit that area in the middle like this, and that ball. I mean, Desmond Howard has to catch that ball. I mean, he just caught it too close to his body, and when you do that, then the ball hits your shoulder pads and bounces out. But they've hit the outs and the middle.
Freeze, is a blitz coming. Freeze away from it. Gets the pass complete to Titus Winans. And Freeze is up in a hurry and saying to the rest of the team, let's get in a hurry.
Well, the Redskins still have 2 timeouts. And remember the 2-point rule.
A minute 20 left to play. Freeze to throw it. Swings it outside to Ricky Irvin. And Irvin stays inbound. Gets about 4 yards, and Freeze said, let's hurry back.
I think they meant to swing that out to Ricky Irvins and have Ricky Irvins get out of bounds.
No question about it.
Freeze almost lined up behind his guard.
There's Freeze back to throw, gets it out to Irvins, and Irvins this time does get out of bounds to stop the clock with less than a minute left.
Yeah, but that one here, you would have liked a step or 2 more before you get out of bounds, because
they're at their own 42, the draw play. They don't get the first down. I don't believe. Maybe they did. But now they've got to take a timeout. Yes, they did get a first down. Clock stopped.
Timeout was a Redskin timeout, but Dan Reeves called his whole defense over to the sideline.
Freeze to throw it. Flag on the play. Pass caught by Titus Winans. Flag on the play. That'll stop the clock. 40 seconds left. Motion, maybe. Well, the penalties have hurt the Redskins today.
You know, if you just look at the second half penalties alone.
Number 80 offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Desmond Howard Freeze is 30 out of 45 for 346 yards, a career high. That's the penalty situation. Washington 10 times for 85 yards. Seems like more than that. 1st and 15.
Well, and 6 of those penalties were in the second half.
Here's John Freeze back to throw. At midfield, it's Ethan Horton, and they'll have to burn another timeout. Not this time, perhaps, but pretty soon. 2nd and 5.
Well, they don't have their wide receivers back.
Freeze waiting, waving for them to get set. 3rd down and 5. Right at midfield. Now that's over everybody. Jesse Campbell was the nearest Giant. 13 seconds left. They still have one timeout, the Redskins.
There's Norv Turner again. He's one of the head coaches that calls the plays. He's calling this a last 4th down play, giving the play to John Freeze. These are 2 well-coached teams that are always going to be competitive, and they're always fun to watch.
They need 5 for a first. They need 50 to have a chance to tie it. Freeze. The first down to Henry Ellard. And now they'll take that timeout. Ellard at the 25. 6 seconds left.
And again, you see they're going to give Ellard a cushion, and it's right in that area where the Redskins have been successful all day, about 15 yards. Either 15 yards in the middle or 15 yards on the out. They've been able to hit that stuff all day. Now, I would think so. If I were John Freeze, I think he would be the guy that I would try and get the ball to, although Desmond Howard has been open today, and so is Ethan Horton. But I wouldn't throw it to a back. That's the only thing that they haven't had real success with
I
today.
look for Henry Ellard, but I'm sure the Giant defenders are as well. Here comes the last play, and Freeze throws. Picked off in the end zone by John Booty. He's been waiting there all day. And the Giants win 31-23.
Dan Reeves says we need one play from our defense. John Booty gave it to him.
He's been hanging there all day.
So the Giants confound the critics who thought they'd struggle with a young new quarterback, moving to 3-0 under Dave.